Didn't see you there. You ever bought a guitar online and it just didn't come with strings?
Oh, sweet, my new guitar came in from eBay, but there's no strings on it.
Or maybe you didn't have a guitar pick, so you decided to substitute with wire cutter. Go.
Oh, man!
Well, whatever the case may be, I'll show you how to change a guitar string. Here are some materials you may need. Okay, so things you'll need is obviously a guitar, a string that coordinates to the string that you broke in your guitar, and possibly some wire cutters to cut off any excess string that happens when the breaking occurs. Alright, so before we move on, we need to know some basics about the guitar. We have 6 strings, and each one is assigned a note. E, A, D, G, B, and finally again, an E. So, say you broke a B string. You would have to go out and buy a B string. But companies, like Ernie Ball here, which is what I use, they assign it a gauge. So, you either have to go online, look it up, or sometimes they tell you that their gauge equals this. In this case, 13 gauge equals a B string. So, if you went out, you might have to get, say, an E string. E strings equal 42 gauge commonly, but it depends on what company you're going to. So you just have to look for that, and once you find out the right gauge, you can go ahead and buy it and get started stringing it. Okay, so before we get down to physically tuning the guitar, you have to understand the way your guitar tunes. And that basically comes down to 2 different factors, whether it's an acoustic or an electric. Okay, so now to tuning an actual guitar. We'll start with an acoustic. So, you'll notice down here, on this little wooden piece, which is called a bridge, you'll notice these little white pegs that are there. So say we broke the E string, the lower, the skinniest string on the end of the guitar. We'll take it, and on the end of all strings there's this little metal bracket, and you'll notice that this little metal bracket will fit perfectly into the hole that are on the bridge. So you'll take your peg out, it'll be first in there, take it out, place the little metal bracket on the string in, and shove that peg in to secure it to the string. So with electric guitars, they have bridges as well, as on the acoustic I showed you before. But, as opposed, they have their bridge exposed on the back, and it's covered by this panel. And if you were up close, you would notice that there are holes in this panel, and that there are holes in the bridge. And there are 6, which represents the 6 strings. So, for this example, I broke a B string. So I'd take my new B string, and I'd place it through the hole that represents where the actual B string would go on the guitar, which is right here, right in front of the low E string. Right. So to finish the rest of this video, we'll be using this guitar, because I feel like it is one of the most common, and you are most likely to have it in your household. So, as we showed in the first section, we first have to start at the bridge and put our new string in through. We'll be using the B string like the other section as well. Okay, so now that we got our B string through the bridge, we're going to take it, stretch it across the neck, put it in this little ridge, self-explanatory if you're up close, and you'll fit it accordingly to its tuning key. Okay, so now that we're at the tuning key, as you notice there's a little hole. You're going to take that and put the string through that hole and pull it through all the way. Make sure the string stays in its right. Okay, so now that our B string is through its correct tuning key hole, you have to take notice on where the tuning keys are placed. So if you're stringing a string that has to use these tuning keys up here, they have to be manually wrapped around these knobs counterclockwise. And if they are higher strings, like my B string is, they're going to be wrapped clockwise around its correct knob. I'd give it about 2 or 3 wraps. Okay, so now that you manually wrapped the B string around the knob, all the hard work is over. All you need to do now is just twist the B tuning key until there's enough tension on it for you to tune it correctly to a tuner or whatever device you use. Okay, so for the sake of time, we'll not show you how to actually tune a Fender guitar, but I will just show some advice. So, as you can notice, all of their tuning keys are placed on one side as opposed to the one I just tuned, which their keys are all placed on both sides. So like I said, on this one, if they are a lower string, they have to be tuned counterclockwise, manually wrapped around that knob counterclockwise, and if they're higher, they have to be clockwise. But if they're all placed on one side of the head, all you have to do is just wrap it like on this with the low string, just wrap it counterclockwise for every single one. Simple. Okay, so after stringing the B string, you'll notice that there's excess string left over. This happens when tuning every single note, every single string. So the only thing to do left is take your wire cutters, place it in, and clip it off. Well, I hope you learned a lot from watching this video. In the beginning, a simple thing like breaking a guitar string would keep me out from weeks from practicing guitar. and I don't want that happening to any new beginners. So I hope by showing the materials, steps, and processes needed to string a guitar will help new beginners. Thank you.